Tata, thank you for taking the time to be here. One of the questions I wanted to ask you is that, as we look at the youth, as we look at shaping India, there's a certain integrity, there's a certain ethos that we want to develop over time. And one of the things the Tata House is known for is its integrity and ethos. In what way has it been integrated? You've been there since you were young. In what way was it integrated into you? In what way do you take it to the next generation?
Well, I think the integrity was embedded in the organization over 100 years ago. Maybe at a time when, without integrity, a company would be considered to be unacceptable. Today, that's a little different. And when I returned from the US, which is partly an accident, I had the role model of J.R.D. Tata, who lived absolutely by the tenets of integrity that the founding fathers had left behind. And there was no issue of any deviation from it. He didn't himself deviate, nor did he accept anybody else who would deviate. So it was deeply ingrained in the organization throughout. All I did when I took over was protect it, because I felt it needed vigorously to be protected, because that is what made us different.
You just said something, you came back accidentally. What did you mean by that?
When I finished college, the only thing I looked forward to was going where it was warm and not cold. That wasn't the accident. I worked in Los Angeles for a period of time, very happy there, doing very well monetarily. My grandmother fell ill and asked for me, and I returned and never went back to the US. So that was the accident.
Okay. You were just saying that, that was the norm at that time. It may not be so today. So when you look at the young people, the possibility that there is for India, what is your feeling when you look at young companies? What do you feel they have, and what do you feel they should keep?
Maybe I can answer your question by deviating a bit from the answer.
Sure.
Being at this event today, and events like this, I have a sense of great remorse. Remorse that I'm in my 70s and not in my 40s. Because at this point in time, the young people are coming into their own and having an opportunity to express themselves, to innovate, to establish enterprises. And that's terrific. And that's what I would have loved to participate in. And I'm sorry that our ages are different.
Well, thank God you're mentally only 30, so you've got a long ways to go.
The problem is, to be frank, that if you don't try to regulate yourself and say that your time is up, who is to tell you that your memory's fading, or that you're getting a little senile, or that you're getting hard of hearing, or that you don't see very well? So the best thing is to move aside and leave way for the young people who are going to be the future of this country to have their head. And I think that's why an event like this and what you're doing to encourage the young people is music to my ears. X Prize has struck me as being a tremendously strong motivator of innovation. In every way, X Prize is a tremendous motivator of today's times. And I hope the momentum that Peter's been able to create will continue and accelerate over the years. Our country has one tremendous attribute in the 1 billion plus people, and that is that we have often been called a country of shopkeepers, or a country of individuals who seek to have their individual visibility. It may be a pawn shop, it may be a larger shop, it may be some activity, but we are entrepreneurs, DNA-wise. We, as a country, we have ideas. What we don't have adequately is we don't have the opportunity to express ourselves. We don't have an infrastructure that helps finance us. We don't have an environment necessarily that motivates us or supports us. Us meaning the entrepreneur, the young entrepreneur. The worst thing that happens to us, I think, is that a young entrepreneur has an idea. It's an idea, it may be a way out idea, and the older person says, how successful has this been elsewhere? How many people have succeeded or utilized it? This is the kiss of death. No new idea is ever going to happen, but we have that potential. And I think if we have the motivators, the supporters, the equivalent of a venture capital community, then India is going to really go exponentially into this new era. And just like the United States has done over the last several decades, who would have thought that we have some of the companies that exist today and are considered highly valuable would be there? Who would have thought of Microsoft or Apple or SpaceX or any of these new names? They didn't exist some time ago. No one would have thought that Elon Musk could himself create a company that would compete with NASA. It would have been unheard of. So I think we have the potential. We have the heroes, but they're embedded in a more traditional structure. We need to unleash them.
And I think, in wrap-up, I'd like to say that as we unleash them, as we get the younger people, I think they need mentors or elders, parents that can guide them the right way too. So to have all of you with your experience guide a lot of the young people. So I just want to say today I've successfully completed checking off Ratan Tata on my list. So thank you very much. And I hope this is just the beginning. And thank you so much for being here.